Third graders, we are going to review our division. So let's review so we can remember how we do the proper division problems. So remember, whenever we are looking at a division problem, the first thing we have to think of are the 5 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. We always think of those 5 steps of division. Don't make me do this on my own. I already know the 5 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. I want to make sure you know them. So don't make me do this by myself. You should be standing and saying them with me. Okay. So once I remember those steps. No, I didn't say 5 steps of division. Multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. Once I know those steps, then I do them. But I have to look at my first digit in my dividend. The first digit in my dividend is 8. So I have to ask myself, how many 2's are in 8? I don't need to worry about my 4 right now. All I need to worry about is the first digit in my dividend, which is my 8. So 8 divided by 2. Count by 2's until you say the number 8 from your mouth, or make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 marks and circle every group of 2. 1, 2, circle, 1, 2, circle, 1, 2, circle, 1, 2, circle. Or even better than both of those is just know 8 divided by 2 equals, yes, it equals 4. So we put our 4 right above the 8 because 8 divided by 2 equals 4. After we divide, we have to multiply. What do we multiply? Our outside numbers. So make your little pickle on the outside of your house so that you'll remember we multiply our 4 times 2. 4 times 2 equals 8. Very good. Now I know, remember we said, oh yeah, we look at this and I'm like, oh, we could do this in our heads. I know the answer already. But we need to show our steps so that when the number is uneven or when it's a longer number, that we know how to do those steps every single time, because it's always going to be that. We always have to know how to do each of those steps. So even though you might already know the answer, you just want to put 42 up there, don't do it. Show me the 5 steps, okay? So after I multiply, I subtract. I subtract my 8 minus 8. So remember, whatever I multiply, the answer goes in my house underneath. So now I multiply 8 minus 8, which equals 0. Good. I'm going to try to bring you closer, even though it's probably going to make it harder for me to be seen, but at least maybe you'll be able to see a little bit better, hopefully. Okay, so then we subtract. 8 minus 8 equals 0. After I subtract, I have to compare. I have to compare it to make sure that 0 is less than 2. Is it? Sure is. And then I bring down my 4. Now I have to go back and do my steps all over again. I have to divide all over again with my newest number, 4. Divided by my same divisor. We always divide by the divisor, which is outside the side of the house. 4 divided by 2. Count by 2's until you say 4 from your mouth, or make 4 marks and circle every group of 2. Or simply know 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So 2, 4, oh yeah, that's 2. My 2 goes right above my 4 because that's the number I just divided into. Now, after I divide for the second time, what do I have to do? I have to multiply for the second time. Multiply what? 2 times 2 equals 4. Where does that answer go? That answer always goes underneath. Very good. So that I can subtract. 4 minus 4, 0. Compare. Is 0 less than 2? So I draw my second arrow. Is there anything else to bring down? No, because we brought everything down, so we're done. But we're not done because we need to check. Yes. So take my quotient times my divisor and see what I end up with. 2 times 2 equals 4. And then 2 times 4 equals 8. 84 is your answer. Very good. You guys got that. All right, so now we're going to go to our next one. We again have to do our 5 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. Good. Make sure you do them. Now, I have to figure out how many 4s are not in 64. I don't need to go that big yet because all I need to do is break it down. We can make things so much simpler by just going into the first digit. How many 4s are in 6? And once I figure that out, then that can help me figure out the rest of the problem. But start small and then work your way across. So I start with how many 4s are in 6. Count by 4s until you say 6. Oh, I just lost my marker. Count by 4s until you say 6 from your mouth. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Or get as close to 6 as you can get without going over 6. It can't be higher than 6. Because remember what we talked about when we said with certain numbers, if I have 6 divided by 2 or 4 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2, if I can't get to my 8, then I have to go to the number underneath that. So how many 4s are in 6? We'll make 6 marks if you need to as well. And then circle every group of 4. That will even give you the answer to your subtraction problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Circle every group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Circle. 1, 2, there's no others. So that's it. There's only one group of 4 in 6. This gives me my answer to my subtraction problem. That's why it's helpful, if you don't know for sure, to make your marks and circle your groups. So 6 divided by 4 equals 1. That 1 goes over top of my 6. So now, after I divide, I have to multiply my outside numbers. So we draw our little pickle so that we won't forget which numbers we're supposed to multiply. I multiply 1 times 4, which equals 4. Yes, very good. Put it underneath my 6 so I can subtract. Remember how I said this problem gives you your answer to your subtraction? What's left over? What's left over? 2. So 2 is left over. Then I have to compare after I subtract. Is 2 less than 4? It is. So once I know that 2 is less than 4, I just simply bring down. Is there something to bring down? Sure is. My 4 next to my 2. Now, I can't just say, oh yeah, okay, 4 divided by 4. No, no, that's a number. This whole thing is my number. That's the number that I'm dividing. I have to divide 24 by 4. 24 divided by 4. If you don't know it, count by 4s until you say 24 from your mouth, or make 24 marks and circle every group of 4. So it's either 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Oh, there's my answer. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Circle every group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, circle. 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 And count your circles to find your answer. 6 circles. So there are 6 4s and 24. Where does my answer always go? The answer, my quotient, always goes on top. Always goes on the top. So put my 6 over my 4. Now that I divided for the second time, what else do I have to do for the second time? Because we're only at the first of my 5 steps of division. Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. So I now need to multiply my newest outside number times my divisor. 6 times 4 equals 24. Very good. And then I subtract 24 minus 24. 0. Compare, is 0 less than 4? It sure is, so we're done. But we're not done. We have to check. take my outside numbers, quotient times my divisor should equal my, what? What is this? The dividend. Quotient times my divisor should equal my dividend. What are you doing? Sorry, should be a booger. All right, so 6 times 4, 24. So my 4 comes down, and my 2 gets carried over with a plus sign. So remember, we carry over just like we do for addition. So 4 times 6 is 24, 24. Don't put 42. 2 is 20, so that goes in my tens place. 4 is 1, so I put it in my ones place. Then 4 times 1 equals 4 plus my 2, which equals 6. And does that equal that? Then we're done. We've done it correctly. So think those problems through very, very carefully. All right, really quickly, what is the opposite of subtraction? Yes, addition. What about the opposite of division? Multiplication. What about the opposite of addition? Subtraction. And what about the opposite of multiplication? Division. Good. So we have to think of the opposite processes. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So think of those opposite processes because those are going to help us with our finding the unknown numbers. So remember, these are simply hidden numbers. They're hidden, and you have to be smart enough to figure out what that hidden number is. So when we are looking at a number or a mathematical sentence, an equation that has a letter in it, we cannot do the side that has a letter. We have to, what did I tell you? Do what you know. Do you know what n plus 5 is? No, we haven't learned how to add n to 5 in 3rd grade. What? So we're not doing that side because that's not what we know. Do what you know. Do you see something that you know? What do you know? Yes, you know 3 times 4. Very easy. 3 times 4 equals 12. So once you do the known side, the side that you know, you write that answer down. Then what do? Do some of you remember? Bring everything else down. Yes, very good. So bring everything else down. N plus 5 equals 12. Now, we still have that n plus 5, but we're not going to get rid of the n because we have to figure out what that n is equal to. What number is hidden underneath that n? The way that we're going to do that is to actually get rid of our 5 so that n can be by itself and we can figure out what that secret missing number is. So let's get rid of 5. If we have a plus 5, what is the opposite process of addition? Subtraction. So we have to subtract 5. So if I have 5 minus 5, it equals 0. So that means that the n, we cross those out, the n is now by itself, right underneath. Ooh, that was a really messy n. Sorry. Writing on an angle here. So we write the n there. And then we bring down the equals. What we do to one side, what did I do to this side? Subtracted 5, I have to do to the other. The same process. If I subtracted 5 from this side, I have to subtract 5 from the other side. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Say it. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So if I subtract 5 from this side, I have to subtract 5 from the other side. 12 minus 5 equals what? Yes, good job. It equals 7. Now we realize what that sneaky, hidden, secret number was. So now we're going to check to see if we figured out the right number though, because what if we did that wrong? So let's plug it in, plug it in. That's an old commercial that your parents might remember if they watch TV probably as much as I do, and I don't know. So now instead of n, what is our number? The secret number was 7. We figured it out. 7 plus 5 equals, we write the original problem, 3 times 4. What is 7 plus 5? It is 12. And what is 3 times 4? It is also 12. So we did it correctly. So we put a check mark over to the side to show that it is correct. So that is how we do that problem. How simple, right? We talked about this the other day, and that was really easy. All right, so we're going to do it one more time to remember how easy it was. When I look at n minus 2 equals 4 plus 2, Ms. Monroe, I don't know how to do that. Some of it you do. Oh yeah, I know how to add 4 plus 2. That's easy. I can do that part. Well, then that's the part that you do. So do what you know. Solve the known side, the side that you know. 4 plus 2 equals, it equals 6. Very good. Then what do? Bring everything else down. N minus 2 equals 6. Okay, so n minus 2 equals 6. Then we have to get rid of our n. Or not get rid of our n, get rid of our 2. But look at our 2 in this problem. It's negative or minus 2. So if this is a subtraction, what do we have to do? The opposite process, which means we need to add 2 to make sure we can get rid of that 2, because negative 2 plus 2 equals 0, right? So cross that out, and that leaves us with just n on this side. Bring down your equals, and then remember, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So if I added 2 here, I have to add 2 over to this side. 6 plus 2 equals 8. Oh, I think we just figured out our secret number. We cracked the code. So n, supposedly, really all this whole time it was tricking us, it really was 8. But let's check to be absolutely positively sure. Let's plug it in to our problem and see if we got it right. So we put 8 in place of the n, because n is 8, minus 2 equals, plug it into the original, 4 plus 2. What is 8 minus 2? It is 6. And put your equal sign, make it nice and neat. See how they're pretty much right underneath each other? Keep them neat. What is 4 plus 2? That is also 6. So 6 equals 6. We did it. We got it absolutely correct. Good job, guys. Elbow bump, air high five, confetti. Good job. That was really easy, right? Not hard at all. So when you are solving and looking at those problems, that is all that you're going to be doing, is looking and figuring out what is that missing number. And it's an easy thing to figure out if you use the steps. All right, so page 117. I'm going to move you back a little bit. Page 117, more solving for the unknown number. Look at the box at the top. 1, solve the side you know. Do what you know. Remember, we look at it and we go, I don't know how to do all of this. Then do what you know, and then work from there. Solve the side you know. 2, to get the letter by itself, opposite process, so that to both sides of the equation. Then solve for the letter. Then 4, rewrite the original problem to check. All right, so let's look at letter A. It's n plus 7 equals 20 minus 4. What? I don't know that, Miss Monroe. You do know part of it. What part do you know? Oh, I know the 20 minus 4 part. I know you do. So that's the part that you do first. Do the 20 minus 4. That's all you have to worry about right now. 20 minus 4. Solve that. Put it underneath. Then what do? Bring everything else down. Bring down the equals, bring down the 7, bring down the plus, bring down the n. Everything else is copied directly as it was. So now we have n plus 7 equals 16. Then we have to get rid of those 7s. If it's a plus 7, what's the opposite process? Subtract 7. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. Some of you didn't say it. Say it with me. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So if we subtract 7 from one side, we subtract 7 from the other side. Cross out the 7s next to the n because we don't need those. Just put your n underneath. And then when you put your subtracted 7 underneath your 16, what's the missing number? You write that missing number in there, and then I'm not going to tell you because I want you to think it through. Plug it into the original problem. Something plus 7 equals 20 minus 4. And see if you got it right. And then that's all you're doing for B, C, and D as well. Remember, if it's a subtraction sign, do the opposite process to get rid of the number, so you'll just have the letter. All right, then those are the only 4 problems on there. Then you have section 2. So I'm going to give you your story problem so that you will know what to do for section 2. Then you have 3, finding the perimeters, 4, finding the area, 5, estimate the sums. So they give you the numbers and you just write the estimated numbers in the blanks and then write the estimated answer. Okay. Then section 6, if the underlined number is wrong, circle it, then write the correct number in the square. So if it doesn't need to be fixed, then just leave that square blank. Okay. All right. So here is the story problem for section 2. Sophia and her grandmother are planting tulip bulbs. They planted 4 garden beds with 12 bulbs in each. How many bulbs did they plant? I'll read it one more time. Sophia and her grandmother are planting tulip bulbs. They planted 4 garden beds with 12 tulip bulbs in each. How many bulbs did they plant? What process? How are you going to figure that out? Think carefully. I know you can do it. All right, and then really quickly, I'm going to ask this brain buster question. I want you to think carefully. Oh, so wait, hold on. I have to read this carefully. So what you're going to do is stand if the number can be divided by 5. If it can't be divided by 5, then you're going to sit. Okay? So if it can be divided by 5, then you stand, and you know your 5 division table. But if it can't be, then you sit. 15, 30, 32, 70, 65, 100, 95, 250, 47. What pattern do you hear? I'm hoping some of you got this because some of you might be going, oh, no, I know my 5 division table and 70's not in it, so I'm just going to sit. But remember, what pattern do we hear when numbers can be divided by 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 100, 15, 120, 130, 25, 130, 135, 140. What do we hear? It's always a 5, and a 0. So did some of you get that? There were only some numbers that didn't. 32 and 47 were the only numbers that could not divide by 5. So we could do 15, we could do 30, we can do 70 because it's a 0, we can do 65 because it's a 5, we can do 100 because it's a 0, we can do 95 because it's a 5, we can do 250 because it's a 0, but we can't do 47 because it's not a 0 or a 5. Did you get that? Hopefully you did, and I'm going to get off of here because this is a super long video, but hopefully you got that and did really, really well. Just fast forward the parts that you don't really need, okay? Good job today on your math. See you later.